My name is Prado Antolino. I am the manager of language services. My job is to manage the language services department. We have a team of translators. They translate written documentation. We have a team of interpreters. They help with verbal communication between providers and patients. Providers can be doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, physician assistants. I also help with hospital policy. So we set out, to teach and get into compliance our providers. These services are free and we are obligated by law to provide them. And they obviously bring better outcomes to our patients as well. My day today is very, very busy. Are you sure you really want me to go into it?
Yes, I love you to go into it.
So on a daily basis, I manage the operations of the department, and it can take many forms. There's about 12 people working in this entire department. I have a coordinator who works from home. I have a supervisor. My day can look like a lot of different things, from checking email, and a lot of those emails have to do with technical assistance. For example, how do we apply policy and our obligations under the law into practice within the hospital, meeting with the supervisor and looking at schedules and figuring out where we're going to place different interpreters within different clinics for a particular day, depending on what the schedule looks like. There's a lot of administrative stuff, such as perhaps disciplinary actions or perhaps lots of meetings, providing feedback on new initiatives within the hospital, what that looks like for patients who don't speak English. That's sort of my area. So really no day is the same, and every day is a surprise in some ways.
All right, and how did you get to this position? Can you describe your career journey?
Sure. So I started at Moffitt 19 years ago. So I started as a senior translator. So I came as a translator to translate informed consent. So when I was first hired, I had just graduated with my master's in translation and applied linguistics. That's what my background is. I am a trained translator and interpreter. Little by little, taking on more tasks, taking on, different parts of the job, of the language access concept, and applying it to the day-to-day. And then it really has kind of rolled from there. So you need training. A lot of people think that if you are bilingual, you're automatically a translator or an interpreter, right? And so I'm not very good with analogies, but if you have two hands, does it mean you can play the piano? No. But you have the tools, very basic tools to perhaps learn how to play the piano. I think the one characteristic about being a translator and interpreter that is very, very, very valuable, if you want to be very good at it, is curiosity. You have to have a great love for learning, and you have to be very curious about learning a lot or a little about a lot of different things. And the one beautiful thing about this profession is that if you don't want to, you don't ever have to stop learning. You go into a session with a particular physician who is talking to a patient about a particular new treatment that just came out. Clearly, we don't have clinical training, so we don't have the training in that depth. But you still have to learn the terminology, the scientific terminology behind it in 2 languages, and you have to be able to provide that information back and forth, switching languages. So I think curiosity and really a desire to learn and really never stop learning and continuing to hone your skills. Working with patients, hands down. Honestly, the rewards are immediate. You really do learn a lot from patients, and you know that what you've done for them has been meaningful, and that is hands down the most rewarding part of the job. Cancer unfortunately has touched all of us. I came into Moffitt a little bit serendipitously. My neighbor used to work at Moffitt, and she told me, Prado, they're looking for a translator. And when I looked at the job description, it was completely right up my alley. I could not imagine my grandmother going through lung cancer treatment in a foreign country, not speaking English, for example. But I never forget that behind what I do on a daily basis, even with the frustrations that we all carry around, there's always a patient behind. And that's very meaningful to me. So that's why I work at Moffitt.